there, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, I want to pose the question to you of how do you play the pentatonic scale? Now, you might think that this video is, well, how do you play the pentatonic scale? But it's not quite that simple. And what I mean is, a lot of times the pentatonic scale or the blues scale, and there's a subtle difference. They're what I call functionally equivalent. We'll talk about that. But there is a subtle difference. The minor pentatonic scale is typically what we use to solo in a blues context. And that's the most important thing to understand. I get hit a lot with questions about the minor pentatonic scale. I learned all of my boxes. Of course, what does that really mean? People say, I learned all my boxes. I still can't solo. Well, that's because you don't know why you learned your boxes. And first of all, you got to understand how boxes are different from scales and the same and all this kind of thing. So I want to try to clarify a whole lot of misconceptions. And you might think I'm nitpicking. Some folks are going to watch this video and be like, well, duh. Yeah, I get that. But there are some really subtle but really, really important differences between things like a scale and what we call a box, okay? And so I want to make sure that you have a really firm understanding of that, because moving forward, as you learn things, it's going to help you to kind of compartmentalize the things that you learn, and most importantly, how those things are actually going to help you when it comes to blues soloing or learning blues riffs or songs. Because as I've shown in other videos, a lot of times this pentatonic scale is also the backbone behind your favorite riffs, your favorite licks, your favorite solos. All that stuff tends to be, you know, sort of embedded inside the pentatonic scale. So let me talk about what I mean here. The pentatonic scale itself. Okay, let's say that I have A as a root. Now I actually treat the minor pentatonic scale and the major pentatonic scale as two different scales, or I often call them two different sounds, because they're not what's called diatonic. And that's a theory thing, and I don't want to get into it. But if you hear me say the word minor blues sound, I mean the same thing. Okay, that right there is a very common way to play the minor pentatonic scale. In the key of A minor, it is A, C, D, E, and G, and A. Start over again. A, C, D, E, G, A. Okay, now, I just played it in a very, very common pattern that's commonly called box one. And the whole box thing is something I definitely want to address, because box one, right, again, starting with my A, I think of it in fingers, it's probably easiest to remember. Obviously, it's always going to be A, C, D, E, and G, but it's first finger, first finger, third, first, third, first, third, first, fourth, first, fourth. And I have other videos that go through all 5 of the boxes. What do I mean by that? Well, I could actually start that scale anywhere. I could start it on this A. A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A. Okay, I can keep going all day long. I can actually play this scale using any A, any C, any D, any E, any G. Okay, it doesn't have to be all in one spot. So what becomes important is, why might this, what we commonly call box one, why might you want to learn the scale in that format? Well, because there's a ton of licks by undoubtedly your favorite blues players that will fall in that scale. Okay, stuff like that. Right, and I'm just playing some stuff. It's not important that you play these things, but there's a whole lot of stuff there. There's also, however, a whole lot of stuff in other places. For example, one of my other favorite places to play the minor pentatonic scale is something that I call the 4-note solo. Now, I have an old video way back from 2008 about the 4-note solo. It's got 2 point something million views at this point. I actually updated it several years after that. It's still around. I'll try and remember to leave a link near this video. But the 4-note solo comes from what I call this 4-note solo pattern, or there's an A, again, you know, A, C, D, E, and G, right? So I use my 3rd finger on this A at the 10th fret of the 2nd string. I get the C and the D by the 8th and 10th frets on the 1st string. I get the G down here, actually, at the 8th fret of the 2nd string. I get the E by bending the top note up. So I'm actually only playing 4 notes, but when I want the 5th note, I bend. Could I slide? Of course. Now you might think, well, that's just a little tiny place. How can you do much there? The entire first solo to Texas Flood, almost the entire first solo to Texas Flood is in that pattern, in that position. I was transcribing a bunch of Albert King stuff recently. I believe it was Killing Floor, almost entirely, I'd say 80% of it in that pattern, okay? There's a lot of great licks there. Now, I can also take that same pattern and start it in other places. Okay, for example, right here. So I could actually move them together. Okay, I could even do it up here. Little tiny 4-note patterns like that are very easy to move around. You just put that 3rd finger wherever you want, and it works. It works great. Okay. What if I wanted to play my my pentatonic scale, my minor pentatonic, on 1 string? Can you do that? Sure can. A, C, D, E, G, and A. So there's another way I could play it. Could I play it just on this string? Well, of course. A, C, D, G. I'm going to run out of room. How about on this string? Just this string? Absolutely. How about on just this string? Absolutely, right? Okay. What about, let's take, box 1 again. All right, I've got my 1st finger starting right here, but what if I don't want to use my 3rd finger? What if I want to use my, what if I don't want to use my 1st finger? I want to use my 3rd finger or my pinky. Can I go that way? I call that a left-facing pattern. A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A. It's exactly the same scale. We commonly call it box 5. And you might think, well, why on earth do I want to play my pentatonic scale on only 1 string? Well, I'll show you a cool little trick. If you know if you can play it on just 1 string, then you know where every single box starts. There's a reason that you might want to. Or you might want to do something Hendrixy. Right? And so I'm just bending up to each note in the scale, but I'm bending up to it with the note below. I might want to do a riff, right? I might want to play like... Right? Tons of rock music comes from just basically taking a minor pentatonic scale and adding power chords, making power chords out of it. There's like gobs and gobs and gobs, Probably know where I'm going with that, right? That's B minor pentatonic scale. Or G minor pentatonic scale with a blue note, right? You probably heard that before too. It's no big mystery where all that stuff comes from. So this is why you want to learn the minor pentatonic scale, not just as box 1, but what it actually is, what it does for you. If you are soloing over blues chords, right? And what I mean by blues chords, 12-bar form, 8-bar form, 16-bar form, it really doesn't matter the number of bars, but you've got 3 dominant 7th chords. A 1, 4, and a 5. Could be A7, D7, E7. Could be G7, C7, D7. Could be an E, E7, A7, B7. Doesn't matter. What defines it as being, I'll say, a blues that you can use that minor pentatonic scale over all 3 chords is all 3 chords have to be dominant 7th chords. And for those of you that are theoretically inclined, you might look at that and go, but none of those chords actually, like that scale doesn't have all of the notes of any of those chords. You are correct. It's something that our ear has grown accustomed to. We accept it. We cherish it. We love it. It sounds fantastic. Is it correct? No, it's not. We've learned to live with that. We've learned to accept it and enjoy it for what it is. So I want to point this out because there's a lot of really, really cool things that you can do. And I encourage you to explore this in a different way. And what I mean is do stuff like this. Take your first octave, say you know box 1. Okay, starts right here on this A, C, D, E, G, A. Okay, well, try starting it on this A, C, D, E, G, A. You have to add a fret because every time you cross the B string. But notice it's the same, right? I could go up here, it's this A. Notice it's the same. I could go to this A. Add 1 because I crossed the B string, but past that, it's the same. Go to this A. It's the same as far as I can go. Okay? So people wonder how I do stuff like this. To me, I'm playing the same pattern over and over again. Okay, but I kind of go up for a little bit, then I come back down, then I go up a little bit more, then I come back down, then I go up a little bit more, then maybe I go someplace else from there. Or maybe I go through that pattern, then I go through it again, and then I realize, hey, I'm in that spot where I can do that little 4-note solo pattern. Okay, so what's going to happen is through this sort of exploring that I want you to do, you're going to discover all kinds of little bits and pieces of other things, okay? For example, let's say I do it right here, okay? Again, same pattern, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, well that's also, if you happen to know, I'll say box 4, that's in there, okay? That's in there. If you know box 2, that's in there, okay? And when you start to see these connections between little tiny shapes and other bigger shapes, that's when you start to get that better mental model, what I call, of the fretboard. A lot of people talk about this idea of mastering the fretboard. I don't think that's possible. I've been playing for 40-something years and still I get lost sometimes. If I try to do some unusual, bizarre sound that I have never played before in a place that I've never played it, I'm going to get lost. Okay, there's always something else to learn. So don't think that you're going to somehow, get to the point where you absolutely never, ever, ever get lost. Not only is that not the goal, it's not really all that achievable. But that's not the goal. We want to get to the point where you're playing, you're enjoying yourself. That's the point, to where you're making some music, you're enjoying what you hear. That's the goal. Okay, so take a small little area, a small little pentatonic scale, and just play. Put on a jam track and just play. Just try some stuff out. Get it comfortable under your fingers. Then pick another little spot. Mess around with that for a while. This is something that I just want you to experiment with just for a few minutes, here and there, maybe every day, maybe every other day. But take time to experiment and explore. There's so much great stuff on your guitar fretboard, but you have to just kind of go explore it for a little while sometimes. So hopefully I can encourage you to do that today in this lesson. using the minor pentatonic scale sort of as your springboard for exploration. Okay, so go play with that. Try it out. Let me know in the comments if it works for you, if you discover something new and cool maybe that you hadn't seen before. And as always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think might dig this video, I hope you'll share it with them. I will leave links nearby for things like I have some free things you can sign up for, my email list. You can try the Blues Guitar Unleashed All Access for just $1. Again, I'll leave a link near this video for all that stuff if you want to support what I do. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.